Hi everyone. It's been a really warm summer so far. It's about 33 degrees in Singapore. You'll have to excuse me because I've been wearing braces for some time and it's affecting the way that I speak. So today I'm going to talk about this telescope that I got. It's the Skywatcher 130 EQ, and EQ stands for equatorial mount. However, you will notice that I don't actually have the equatorial mount on this telescope. So what I got instead is another mount that will allow me to make micro adjustments outside when I'm trying to find celestial objects to either view or take a picture or a video of. So why don't I have the mount? Because I got this telescope used and it cost me 22 US dollars. This is a high quality reflector telescope. And I guess what happened here is that the previous owner bought this telescope and really liked the equatorial mount, decided to keep it and sell the rest of the telescope for cheap. I actually got two eyepieces with this, a 25mm wide angle and a 10mm eyepiece. So this telescope is fantastic, and what reference point do I have to work with? Okay, so I have another telescope here to compare this telescope with, and that is the Celestron Power Seeker 127 EQ equatorial mount. I got this thing for 14 US dollars used. Likewise, I think the previous owner liked the equatorial mount and decided to keep the equatorial mount and sell it. I think I got a really good deal for this Skywatcher. This one, well, there's quite a bit I have to say about this one. You've probably seen a lot of people talk about the Celestron Power Seeker 127 EQ as a substandard Burt Jones design reflector telescope. I tried my best to like it. I've taken it out, tried various use cases, but at the end of the day, it's not too bad for viewing extremely bright celestial objects such as the moon. I wish we had more than one, but we only have one. And so this guy is good for viewing the moon. And that's it. Okay, so with that reference point, what's the difference that I find between these two reflector telescopes in real world use? I live in Singapore and it's really light polluted here in Singapore. So it's quite difficult to see any stars at all, although on a clear night, yes, you will see a handful of stars and that's about it. A telescope isn't just meant to magnify what you see. A telescope is also meant to collect as much light as possible so that you can see stars and celestial objects with a telescope that you wouldn't be able to see with the naked eye. So it means if I look out now, I can't see any stars, but if I take this Skywatcher 130 and I point it up at the sky, I'll be able to find stars. I can't do that with this guy. All right, so they're supposed to have about the same diameter, 130 millimeters on this Skywatcher, and the Celestron here is 127. So that's what I'm getting. Okay, so I can take this out, I can look at the moon, but you know, that's almost about it. But if you live in a city like, or rather I should say you live in the countryside, you live in a country that has places that are very dark and you can still see lots of stars, then I think the Celestron Power Seeker 127, after you've collimated it, or you get one that's already collimated, it's really not too bad. But what are some of the drawbacks of this that I found? Well, it's very well made. And because it's very well made, it's pretty heavy. It's too heavy actually. So I struggle to find a tripod that has enough heavy duty design to take the weight of this without the equatorial mount that came with this telescope. I'm still okay with this telescope because I paid 14 US dollars for it, right? It's retailing at over 200, maybe 250 US dollars. So if I bought this brand new, I'd be really upset because it really, you know, it's not that good. That's not really that good of a reflector telescope. But this one is. Okay, so this one comes with a 25mm wide angle eyepiece as well as this 10mm eyepiece that I currently have in the Celestron Power Seeker. And what's the performance like? So I took this out and I got a really nice wide angle view of the moon. So I used this 25mm wide angle eyepiece and I paired it together with this Celestron multi-coated ×3 Barlow lens. And this gave me quite a bit of magnification. This Barlow lens is really good quality Barlow lens, and it was on a flash sale for $32 US. The regular price on this one was $55 US. That said, now that I've tried this, I gotta say I should have gotten a ×2. In fact, I ordered a ×2 Barlow lens and I'm waiting for it to arrive. I think a ×2 Barlow lens is a lot more practical. Magnification isn't always a really good thing. But let's be frank, as an amateur telescope enthusiast, I think we've all fallen for that marketing hype when we look at the box and it says, wow, you know, you can magnify this much, this is the one I'm going to get. You know, you always go for the one that will give you the maximum magnification, but it isn't always a good thing. So an example of this is that I have a 10mm eyepiece. So it's supposed to give me more magnification than 25mm eyepiece, but I found that it's a lot more useful to use the 25mm eyepiece, get my sights on the moon, and then switch over to the Barlow lens. And ×3 was just a bit much. I can't see myself using a 10mm along with a ×3 Barlow lens, but maybe a ×2 will be okay. 4mm is even worse. That's just way too powerful, way too close, and you know, you're gonna have trouble and difficulty focusing. So in order to capture a nice video of the moon, I put the Barlow lens onto the telescope like this, and then the 25mm went on top like that. Make sure you tighten everything up. And then I got this guy off the internet. It's running on the Le Canker Android and phone app. This telescope camera, it's really not too bad. You know, it takes a bit of getting used to. And then once I have my sights on the moon, then I put this guy in and then I twist it to tighten it over the lens. That's it. That's my setup in order to capture this fantastic view of the moon. You'll find this telescope camera at many different price points online, and it's a Chinese telescope eyepiece, and the advantage of that is it's pretty affordable. The disadvantage is that the software is a little bit finicky. So I'm able to connect to this camera on my iPad. I can take pictures with it, but I'm having difficulty transferring those images into my iOS camera roll. I think it's the Chinese software is written in such a way that it doesn't have all the permissions necessary for you to transfer the images from the telescope camera or even the Le Canker software to your iOS camera roll. But on Android, it was working fine. But I have to say that the best quality images that I've captured on a telescope has to be from this Celestron Astrophotography 90mm refractor telescope. If you are into taking photographs of celestial objects, a refractor telescope has been giving me better results. That being said, the moon shots that you're looking at right now were captured with the Skywatcher 130. I really like this telescope. It's really portable, it seems very sturdy. I'm going to still give this one a shot. It's just, you know, quite heavy, but it also means it's quite sturdy and long lasting. So that's been my setup to capture these moon shots. I've been really lucky because the Astrophotography with the motorized mount, I got it for $32 US. This one, I got it for $22 US, and this one, $14 US. Well, the only catch is that I needed to get a mount like this. It's definitely a Chinese branded mount because it's got Chinese words here. I can't really read this, unfortunately. I'm really sorry about that. The English brand is Sparta and it's fantastic. It's a micro adjustment mount, so I just need to take this key, pop it in there, turn it, and it'll move ever so slightly. Right, so this one will move the telescope up and down, and then there's another one over here at the front, and when I turn this one, it moves the telescope little by little left and right. It's pretty essential to get one of these mounts. So if you don't have the equatorial mount, that's going to be a problem. If you have it, of course you would have it if you bought this telescope brand new. So if you can get your hands on any one of these telescopes for a good price, but they don't come with a mount, you have the option of picking up this Sparta mount online, and it's pretty cheap. It's $80 US, thereabouts. You can just get one and then you can swap your telescopes back and forth between this mount. The tripod I already have, so if you don't have your own tripod, that's just another thing that you're gonna have to invest in. Telescopes give me a lot of joy because I love looking up at the night sky. I hope this video has been helpful for you and that you've picked up some tips that might be relevant to you. I'll see you in the next video.